Tony Wisniewski. Tony? So the next people don't hear me with the applause, so please stop that.
My name is Tony Wisniewski. I'm a state representative representing Post Falls, Worley, and Rathdrum. Most of you don't know a whole lot about communism. What you have learned maybe is a theory in a political science or a civics class from probably a liberal professor. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my family history to give a little background about communism. In September of 1939, World War II started. The two largest armies in the world converged on Poland, the Nazis from the west and the Russians, the Soviets, from the east. My father was already in the Polish army. It's typical for many European countries to have their young men serve a couple of years in the armed services to provide service to their country. He fought for 6 years against the Nazis in Southern Europe, Palestine, North Africa, and Italy. He survived being machine gunned, grenaded, shot, had both eardrums blown out with artillery fire. He knows the savagery of the Nazis. After the war, the Allies had a policy of repatriating people, so the French people went back to France, Poles went to Poland. My parents, who didn't know each other at the time, refused to go back to Poland because our president, FDR, and Winston Churchill handed over all of Eastern Europe as a peace prize to the Soviets with the intention of having free elections. Well, guess what? The candidates for those offices mysteriously disappeared. Their family members were threatened. They were threatened, and the countries went all communist. My parents lived under this. My dad fought for 6 years to free his country from the Nazis, only to see it handed over by the Allies to an infinitely worse regime of the communists. Now, years later, when we lived up in northern Utah, my father's niece and her husband came to visit us, and they proved to us that the communists really are intent on providing a classless society. Both of them were doctors. My father's niece was at the head of a wing of a hospital. They were MDs. They both had part-time jobs to support their family. They had one child. They had one car between them. They had a small apartment. And the Soviet system, the people's government of Poland, in order to make sure that these two doctors returned, kept their son in Poland as a hostage. Now, this is the type of government that we're talking about. Now, 2 years ago, the legislature passed a resolution remembering the 100 million, may I finish my sentence? The 100 million victims of communism, and the resolution, quote, condemns communism as a political philosophy incompatible with liberty, prosperity, and the dignity of human life. I urge you not to place that statue here in Coeur d'Alene.